I just keep saying yes because I don't know what God's up to. So I just keep saying yes, and I'm like, all right, let's see where this goes, kind of thing. Hey guys, what's up? It's Rob. It is Friday, coming at you. Today is August 9th, I think, and making my vlog. Gonna jump right into it. So I am back in the City Fam offices. I was away in Romania for the last 2 weeks, and this is my first day back. I am excited to be home. I had a really great trip. It was, it was wild, to be honest. It was just a whole nother world over there. Really met some great people, got to experience a culture unlike anything I'd ever seen before, saw some great things, and just, it was awesome. We got a lot of rest in, got some work in. It was great. I stayed in monasteries for about 6 days and 6 nights, which was a first for me because I'd never been to a monastery and I really didn't know what to expect. But it was really cool, actually. There's like probably a couple thousand monasteries in Romania. Not something that you really see here much in the States. There are a few, but it's not like a thing like it is over there. But it was awesome. So I went there and I had a speaking engagement. The second day that I was there, I spoke in front of like the group of adults. It was good. I actually got some clips that I'll be posting from that. And then the following day, I went to another town and I spoke in front of some students and some adults too, but it was mostly students. And that was a little bit more awkward, to be honest, because I was working with a translator, and there were kids in the audience. Honestly, there was children in the audience as young as 7. So I was like very uncomfortable because I was told it was only going to be 15 to 18-year-olds. And, so I was trying to figure out what to say and what not to say. And I need some work before I go back. But I'm actually going back there for the whole month of, I actually get there September 25th or so, I think, 25th, 26th. And I'll be staying until about that date in October, to the end of October, when I'll come back for some events actually that are happening here in the States. So it's cool. I'm excited. It was a long flight, 24 hours of travel to get home, but it was good. It was really good for me. It was great to be back it's great to be back in the office and to be feeling the way that I'm feeling, actually, because I just feel different. I feel different than when I left. I really was battling depression and when I went away, and I don't feel that heaviness at all. And the problem is I hadn't taken a break in a long time. Like even when I'm taking a break, a lot of times my breaks are, even my leisure time is City Fam things. So it's hard to ever really be off, and there, even though I was working, I was able to turn off some. I was able to get good sleep. I didn't watch television for 6 nights. There was no television, and even on the other nights I barely watched any. So it was really good for me just to rest and to get back to a place where I'm like excited about working again, which is cool. And something my coach told me recently, Bertrand, was that I need to take 3 days off every month and just do something completely for me, which I hadn't listened to him, to be honest, because I'm such a worker. Thanks, Donna. It's great to be back. And I understand the importance of what I'm doing, but at the same time, you gotta rest. Like, I'm learning that you have to unplug. You have to sprint, but you have to take time to recover, because you can't just sprint constantly. At some point, you need to stop, breathe. You know what I mean? Drink some water. So I'm gonna start doing that. I'm working that into my schedule. But without further ado, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm gonna edit some clips from my trip in right now. Friday night, and I am here in Bucharest, Romania. You can see the skyline behind me. Why you booked me to come here?
Why? Because You talk so open about why waiting works in Romania.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good to see you.
Great to see you. So everyone, this is my translator. She's going to be working with me.
I hope it's gonna be
Yeah.
a good job.
You excited? I'm excited.
I am, yeah. I was
up?
like, okay, I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah.
Great.
All right, we are here in Bucharest, Romania, and we are about to talk about my favorite thing. We are about to talk about sex.
So that last question, again, that's fear. If you hear, like, what if I wait and it doesn't allow me to find the right person, right? Because that's the enemy. That's what he's going to tell you. He's going to come at you with fear. The opposite of love isn't hate. Everybody knows that, right? The opposite of love is fear, and that's what the enemy uses. He gets you that FOMO, they call it in the United States, fear of missing out. So he's going to come at you with fear. Now I want you to picture this, because this is what I know from experience. When I was a scumbag, if a girl told me she wanted to wait, I wouldn't have. She would have, but now when a girl tells me I'm waiting, guess what I do? I lean in. I'm like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. There's a unicorn. Right? That's what so it attracts the me now and it repelled the old me.
I just got done my talk. I'm here with Bogdan, and he just gave me a great compliment. Tell him what you told me.
I'm gonna restart doing it.
He said I would convince him to restart, and he is getting on the refrain train. Nice. So it is Monday morning, here with Adelina and Anka. We are on our way to Slobozia, to the school. Did I pronounce it right? I don't know why they're laughing.
It's because of the word
Slobozia.
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 Yes.
And we are going to a school there where we're going to talk to a group of about, what, 50?
Around, yes, 40, 50.
40 or 50.
Oh my God. Look at this. Look at this.
All right, I'm here in Slobozia. I just got done my talk. I met my new friend Sebi, and what's wild is he has been watching my videos on YouTube for 2 years, long before this event was ever booked or made to happen, and he just came up and introduced himself.
Pare bine.
Parabina. I don't know if I said it right. Day 5 in Romania and just got to the seaside. Tomorrow I'll be visiting the first of 2 monasteries where I'll be spending a couple days and nights to plan my next trip in October, because they're the ones that are bringing me back. So. Day 6 in Romania. Me and Adelina are driving to Oasa. Did I pronounce that right? Monastery. And Adelina just told me that I'm going to be fasting for the next 6 days because there's a religious holiday coming up and no one eats meat or dairy or anything like that. So that was a bonus. Thanks, Adelina.
The big one, I don't know if it's
Okay, I'm here at Oasa Monastery, deep in the mountains of Romania. It's my first night here. We got here a couple hours ago. I'm in my room, just kind of walked around, did a little tour of the property, and you know, just blown away, to be honest. It's a really beautiful place. But when I got here, there was a nice meal prepared, laid out, and it was, you know, it was all vegetables, but it was a really nice variety of food, and fruit and vegetables. And we ate, and they showed us our rooms, and you know, we're able to stay here, and we're not paying anything, which is just amazing. And when I toured the facility, I was just kind of sitting out. It's right on top of this lake up in the mountains, and you know, there's forest and clouds, and it's just really beautiful. And I was just sitting there thinking to myself how wild God is, you know, like how did I get here? That was the question I was thinking to myself. I was like, here I am in Romania at a monastery. I couldn't have orchestrated this at all. I'm not paying anything to be here. And I was just so grateful, you know, so at peace. And, you know, it's like, I don't have to do anything. I don't even have internet. Right now I'm recording this, so I'll post it later when I get back into civilization. But I have some books and I have a journal, and I'm going to read, I'm going to write, I'm going to pray, I'm going to think, I'm going to listen, I'm going to rest. And it's exactly what I feel like I needed, because when I've been back in the States, you know, I was at a point of burnout and I needed a break. I wanted to go away, but I didn't even know where to go. Like, I don't even know where I would go. I didn't really necessarily have a lot of discretionary income or, you know, extra money laying around to go anywhere. And I wouldn't have even known where to go. And here, this opportunity just kind of manifested itself and came to me. And I feel like it was just God giving me exactly what I needed. So I'm really looking forward to what I'll experience the next 6 days, and, you know, what I'll learn. And if nothing else, just to chill, just to be, you know, not to do anything, not to have to be anywhere, but just to be, you know, and that's what I'm kind of excited about. So
Thursday morning, spent my first night at Owasha Monastery last night. Woke up early. I went to an Orthodox liturgy, which I didn't really understand anything that they were saying, but it was like a kind of a morning mass, I guess. Did my quiet time, talked to God a little bit, did a little reading, did my visualization, and then I came outside to work out. And I just kind of want you guys to see what I'm seeing. There's the mountains behind me. There's a lake. There is the monastery right there.
for breakfast. Not really sure what that is. Got some bread, yogurt, some peppers. Not sure what this is either. That. Okay, so we just came up this really long mountain road, dirt road that they dug, and they said there are bears all over this forest. And now you can see we are at the very top of the mountain. You can see how beautiful it is. And they dug this road 5 years ago and built this home on top of the mountain. That's Father Sylvan. He's the spiritual father of the monastery. There's my wonderful hostess, Catalina. It's beautiful up here though. Okay, so we just got the books. The cover is in English, but as you can see, the rest is in Romanian. So the first 100 books will be like this, and then the next 1,900 books will be in, even the cover will be in Romanian,
Yes,
correct?
of course.
Really happy to be here. Thank you. Really grateful.
I'm happy meeting you, and I think you are doing great work.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm grateful.
And I already told you that our teenagers are very focused when your video comes up. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. I thought it was the work of God, because we discovered your video, I think, in spring, maybe spring, and we were talking in our team. Oh, what a great video, look, you know. And I met Adelina, I think in May or June.
April.
April. I don't know exactly the timeline, but she was talking about you, and okay, let's try to. I will help you somehow, just to meet Rob, and maybe we can collaborate with him.
It's amazing. Thank you. It was so weird how all that happened. I mean, I made the video, I posted it. I wasn't even sure. I was a little scared to post it because
my former life I was so bad, but now here I am talking about waiting. So I was like, people are gonna be like, you had it right.
Yeah.
So I was just like, all right, whatever, I'm gonna post it. And I posted it, and it sat on YouTube for like, with a couple hundred views for like almost a year probably.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden it just started.
Why?
I don't know. God.
Yeah.
I mean, I know why, really, it was him. But it started getting somewhere between 10,000 and 30,000 views every day.
Oh,
And then
I see.
I was like, what the heck is going on? And now it's just, it's all him.
I'm sure that the apostle, if they were living today,
Yeah.
they would use
Social media.
YouTube, blogging and
I
things like
said,
this.
can you imagine what Paul would have did if he had Facebook?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you were with the pro-life movement before you became a priest?
Yeah,
For how long?
Since 2011.
That's great.
And I personally coordinate pregnancy crisis center.
Yeah.
Yes, and we have women.
I'm just reflecting on how good God is.
Yeah.
My mom got pregnant with me at 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
The pastor of the church that she went to asked her if it was too late to get an abortion. You believe that? The pastor. She had me. My grandmother was a strong believer. My mom decided to have me. Her and my mom decided to have me. And I'm just thinking of God, you know, like, because my childhood was far from perfect, you know, because my dad wasn't around. And it's what I'm sure it was contributed to, you know, me making a lot of the decisions I made, but how God just redeemed everything. You know what I mean? Because here I am sitting with somebody in the pro-life movement. I could have very easily been an abortion.
Yeah.
My life could have ended very differently. You know, my story could have gone so much different, but God just took everything and redeemed it and brought it full circle. And now I'm sitting here in front of you guys. It's just really blowing my mind right now.
I'm afraid. Yeah. You know he's going to be good when he's got his own paddle stashed away. All right, let's do it. If you win, I will convert to Orthodoxy. So it's Monday about noon. Adelina and I are walking up to meet with a monk that lives in a cabin in the woods all by himself. He has no internet, television, very little contact. So we hiked up this really high, steep mountain. It's hard to appreciate from this angle, but we're headed to that house on top of the mountain. So probably a few hundred yards and we'll be there.
You know, God's got me on this crazy journey right now. Like, for me to be, first off, for me to even be in Romania, right, is just wild. But then to be in monasteries in Romania, and I'm thinking, man, it was just blowing my mind how big God is, you know, because I couldn't have orchestrated it. I couldn't have made it happen. I didn't have the money to go, nor, you know what I mean? Like, just everything that he did to make that trip happen, from me personally, my testimony, which was all him. This was not my idea to follow God or, you know, follow this path of abstinence at all. It was not my idea, was his idea. And then, you know, the video and how it went viral, and then these people found it, and then this person that put the whole thing together, and now, and actually when I'm going back in October, I'm going to be going to Athos, Mount Athos, which is in Greece, and it's like the epicenter of the Orthodox Church. So it's really hard to get into this place if you're not Orthodox. It's supposedly like next to impossible. Women haven't been on this mountain in 1,000 years. It's just men, it's just monks, and I'm gonna be going there. They offered me to go, and I'm like, I just keep saying yes, because I don't know what God's up to. So I just keep saying yes, and I'm like, all right, let's see where this goes, kind of thing. You know, I posted something recently where I was like, you know, it's great, it's amazing, don't get me wrong, but there are times where, you know, I'm just living outside of my comfort zone in a lot of ways. One day I spoke they asked me to speak in front of the entire monastery, in front of all the monks, and I'm like, what am I gonna say? Like, my testimony is so far it's so different from anything that they've ever experienced. These guys are like, you know, a lot different than me. But I'm like, all right, you know, I said yes. And I got up and I shared and, you know, told my testimony, and I talked a little bit about sex and explained it to them. And, you know, some people came up and thanked me and told me they learned some things. And, you know, I don't know if they were being polite or not, but I just keep saying yes. And, but at times it's a little difficult because I'm like, I'm living outside of my comfort zone, and it can be a little awkward at times. But I'm going to keep saying yes, and I'm going to keep going through the doors as God keeps opening them. One of the things that it was in my devotional actually. The first morning I got to a place called Sihastria Putney, and it was the bigger of the two monasteries I stayed at, and I had this nice like hotel. It was like a hotel room basically. And I stayed there, and you know, I opened up the door, you know, I had this little patio area, and I could see the monastery, the church in the background, and there was a horse walking by with a carriage. He was pulling something, and it was just so beautiful, like high up in the mountains in the country, and you know, the fresh air. And I sat down, I did my devotional that morning. And the verse said, how abundant are the good things that you have stored up for those who trust you and fear you in the presence of men. It says, you will hide them in the secret place of your presence. And I was like, damn, if that ain't the best verse for this. Because here I am, like, I've trusted God, and I've feared him and trusted him in the presence of people on social media, and been very outspoken about my faith. And hey, this is a journey I'm going through, even the hard stuff. And man, he's got me in the mountains in this monastery, and he totally has hid me in a secret place of his presence. And I was like, man, it was wild, you know. And met some, like I said, I met some really good people. I met one guy at the first event, and he came up to me. His name was Sabi, and he said he had been watching my videos. He's like, I've been watching your videos for 2 years. And he said, everything you put out, I watch. And I mean, this is through a translator. And I'm like, so you've been watching my videos before you knew about this? He's like, yeah, for 2 years. I'm like, isn't that crazy how, like, you know, the power of social media is what I was thinking. Like, wow, somebody in this little town in Romania knows who the hell I am, you know, before this event was booked. So it was kind of wild. It was kind of mind blowing. But, you know, I learned about, one of the things I learned about when I was there, I was talking to one of the priests with doxologia, is that abortion is a really high in Romania. It's like one of the highest in the world, actually. Got one of the highest per capita abortion rates. And he works with the pro-life movement, and he was telling me about, you know, how he's like, we found your video back in spring. They found me on YouTube, and, you know, they're like, wow, you know, this guy, it was a great video, and they're showing it to the kids over there. And I thought, man, it would be great to bring him over here. And then some things fell in place, and they were able to make it happen. But you know, he was telling me about everything, and I shared with him that my mom got pregnant with me at the age of 14 years old, and the pastor of the church that she went to at the time asked her and my grandmother if it was too late to get an abortion. And you know, my grandmother was a believer, a follower of Jesus, and they, you know, she wouldn't have had any part of that. So my mom ended up having me, obviously, and but I was sitting there thinking, and I was just also thinking about my life, and I was thinking about, you know, the path that I was on, and if not for Jesus, like how different, where would I be? I don't know where I'd be. I could be dead, or at the very least, I'd just be, I don't even, the thought of who I would be or where I would be without him just makes me cringe. But I'm like, man, you know, like I could have very easily been an abortion myself, and even if I wasn't an abortion, where my story would have ended without Jesus, and how he took it all and he brought it full circle. And now here I am sitting in front of a priest in Romania with the pro-life movement, and my story is now being shown to children, to school kids, to help the pro-life movement. And I'm like, it was blowing my mind, you know what I mean, to think how good God is and how he can take any mess and bring it full circle and make something good out of it if you let him. So I don't know, it was just one of those moments for me. But with all the good stuff that kind of was happening, when I first got there, I definitely was having a little bit of like an identity crisis, I guess, for lack of a better word, where, you know, I would have this opportunity to speak and people were coming up and shaking my hand, you know, and holding the book up and taking pictures. And I was like, I was feeling really convicted about my past. And I was like undeserving of any accolades, basically, you know. And I feel like there's definitely people that I need to complete with, is what they call it in Landmark. Or just, you know, I need to have some conversations with people, because, you know, I stopped, you know, I changed my life, but I haven't necessarily made amends with everyone. Like, there's women I had sex with no regards to them or their feelings. I wasn't dishonest, but, you know, still maybe need to have some conversations, you know what I mean? And I don't know, it's just something that I was thinking about while I was there. And maybe it was the enemy attacking me, because, you know, here I am, this is a good thing, God's opened this door, and now here I'm feeling like I don't deserve this, you know, kind of thing. But it was definitely something I felt, and something I'm kind of processing. You know, I've been on this personal development kick lately, really just trying to, you know, trying to do the hard work on myself, I guess. You know, like I've done a lot of behavior modification in my life, meaning I just kind of stopped, or at least, you know, tried to stop for the most part, doing things that were wrong. But I haven't really got down in there, and I mean, I've started to. You know, I've been meeting with starting to meet with a therapist every week. Been doing that for the last few months. The life coaching was great for me. Helped. That was really what got me started. But I've been doing the Landmark Forum. I went to a seminar over there. I'm trying to do more of the deep stuff, because it's like a rock when you pull it up and you see a bunch of bugs and things crawling around. You're like, ugh, you know, like that's what it's like. Because when you start looking down there, man, you start realizing how jacked up you are. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, it's hard work, but I want to be free. You know, I want to have peace, complete peace about everything. You know, my life. I want to have better relationships with people. You know, I want to have better thoughts about myself. I don't want, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want guilt. I don't want to carry shame around with me. I want to get rid of all that. And, you know, so I'm going to continue down this path, and we'll see where it goes. But, one of the things, I'll share is something I learned in this, seminar, was this release technique. You know what? Actually, I'm not going to go into that because it's just going to take too long. So anyway, what's coming up? Tomorrow I'm going to the Save Single Summit, which I'm on a panel there. I'm going to be talking about biblical dating and, you know, relationships and sex. And I'm excited about it. There's going to be a few hundred people there. I'm taking a bus with about 10 people. It's in Wilmington, Delaware. And I'm excited. You know, I'm excited to, you know, get up on stage and share. And you know, I love talking about it, because, again, people don't come a little as direct as I do with it usually. And nobody's really explaining it. A lot of the people that do talk about it haven't lived on the other side of the fence, or if they do tell you, you know, not to, they don't really tell you why, and maybe they really didn't have the opportunity to. So you're really like, okay, you know, here's this 400-pound person telling me not to, and you're thinking to yourself, like, you know what I mean, like, and I'm being a little insensitive, I guess, when I say that, but that's real, right? And that's what people have told me. So I like it. I like talking about it. I like, you know, taking the blindfolds off people's eyes and helping them see the truth. And I'm hoping to, you know, start something. Continue this brush fire that we've started, and really turn it into a movement that spreads, you know, even further than anything that I've imagined. We actually have, if you've seen the CityFam/Why Waiting Works map, literally have people from all over the world on it. It's pretty cool. And we're starting to be more proactive about reaching out to those people and connecting them so that they can find other like-minded people in their area, specifically if they're waiting, because when you're waiting, it can be real lonely. Trust me, I know. So you need like-minded people in your life when you're waiting. You need good friends to help you get through that, because it is not easy, that path. Even when you have people, it ain't that easy, but it's easier when you have people. So what else? Yeah, so I'm taking a bus to Wilmington, Delaware tomorrow. It's about 10 of us going. If you want to go, there's still room. We actually have room for 22 people on that bus. Drop me a DM or reach out to me via email or whatever, and let me know, and you can get on that bus. I want to say thank you to Torben and Christy from Torben Green and Christy Green from St. Francis Center for letting us use the bus. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Actually, before I go any further, I need to thank my hostess from Romania, Adelina Fronia. Thank you so much for the trip, putting the whole thing together. I meant to do this at the beginning of the video, and I'm sorry, I just kind of started talking. But you were the best hostess that a guy could have asked for. I was so impressed with your ability to put the whole event together. Adelina, literally, she had an idea. She saw the video. She had an idea she's like putting this whole thing together, where she literally raised the funds to get me over there. She booked all the events with the schools, got everybody on board, all the logistics associated with that. She had the book translated into Romanian. She had someone, Doxologia, pay for 2,000 copies to be printed. Like, all this from an idea. Like, she is a don't take no kind of girl, and she's like a pit bull. And thank you so much. I couldn't have asked for a better person to host me. You treated me like a king while I was there, and really made me feel special and gave me some experiences that I won't forget for the rest of my life. So thank you, Adelina. I do also want to say that I have some events when I get back from Romania on the next trip that I'll be doing with a guy named Stefan Labouzier from Stefan Speaks. Some people know him as Stefan Speaks. So I'll be literally in Pittsburgh, Philly, Pittsburgh, and DC on, I think it's the 25th, 26th, and 27th. It may be the 26th, 27th, 28th. Anyway, I'll post the dates, but I'm really excited to be speaking with Stefan. He's an amazing guy. And while I'm there, I'm going to be doing, I really want to do, I want to connect with any local media, do any television, radio, podcast, just continue to increase the buzz for what's already happened and spread the word. So if anybody's got any connections in those fields, reach out to me. I would love to connect with people in those towns. Or if you're just a City Fam member or part of the Why Waiting Works community, let me know that you're coming to the events, and maybe we can grab a coffee or a bite. I would love to meet you. That's it. If you want to add your name to the email list or get on the map that I mentioned earlier, I put a link in this post. You can do either of those things and a lot more by hitting that link. So that's it. Appreciate you guys. See you.